Hi, welcome to Door to Door with your host, me, Judy Stakee. Join me as I travel all over interviewing songwriters about their process. Hi, welcome to Door to Door. This episode, I'm so honored to be sitting with Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, producer, musician, Stephony Smith.
Hey,
welcome.
Thank you. So good to see you.
This is great. I know. I actually really like doing these because I get to catch up with people that I haven't seen in a while. So,
absolutely.
I wanted to tell our audience some of your credits. What I love about your story is that you walked through the door to the music industry through advertising and through jingles, and then wrote yourself a string of hits. Johnny and June for Heidi Newfield, It's Your Love, the duet between Faith and Tim, Perfect Love for Trisha Yearwood, Big Star for Kenny Chesney, and then Shania Twain, Barbara Streisand, the Dixie Chicks. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And in 1998, you were awarded BMI's Songwriter of the Year award. So you've had quite a nice little career. What are you doing these days?
The story hasn't changed very much.
Yeah.
I'm still writing. Trying to dabble in, movies, soundtracks, TV. Kind of writing with more of that in mind, which is very different,
Yeah, but that has become the new radio, the film and television department. Yes.
So working with some track people and some composers and just trying my hand at that. I'm still writing country songs. I'll never stop doing that.
Right.
I mean, that's just who I am. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mixing it up these days.
I like that part, is not doing one thing, So here we go with the questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. How did we meet?
I think we met at a Warner Chapel songwriting retreat in Lake Arrowhead, California. Very magical time with a bunch of cool people, Jody Marr, and it was one way to be away from the world and get stuff done. It was magical.
Yeah, it was Stuart Brawley, and it was a good group that year.
Yeah,
absolutely. What is your creative process?
I have a couple. I wrote a lot of songs. I've written a lot of songs by myself. So, a couple of the bigger hits were actually just written by myself, and that usually happens early morning or late at night. It happens when I'm not thinking about it. Like It's Your Love, I wrote at 11 o'clock at night. I was watching Letterman. I had the TV on mute. I was newly in love, and I was just sitting there, and it just kind of, it passed through. So I think part of the process for me is to really kind of gestate on some things. Right. They muddle around in my mind for a couple of weeks or a week or whatever, and then all at once it just all kind of comes together, and I just stay in it until it's over. I don't get up, I don't walk around. I'm just like, there it is, and I have to get it down. So and then the next day I get up, look over it, make sure everything is the way I want it, and go with it from there. Then get it demoed and pitch it. But as far as a co-writing process, I kind of like to fly by the seat of my pants a little bit. It kind of makes me nervous. It's like getting on stage or something, and you have those butterflies, and that works for me. That deadline thing, like not knowing what I'm going to do when I walk through the door, and then by not having an idea, I find that I'm absorbing that other person and what they're doing and what they're talking about.
Well, you're present to what's going on right then and there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that leaves me wide open for whatever happens. I think I have enough titles written down to last for years, so I do have kind of like something I can go to. But for me, it's just vibing with that person.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have this image of you because you mentioned a couple times being open and just being, aware and letting it come to you. And it's like, it's channeling. It's just really channeling the stories and the music and so forth when you're that open. Just.
I think so.
Beautiful.
I mean,
Yeah.
and not to be corny or cliche, but it's not me. It's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie, I think, said it best. He said, "I'm just writing down things. I'm like there's a radio playing in my head, and I'm just writing it down."
Everything's already been written.
Yeah.
And we just channel it. And when we're open to it, it's amazing what can come through.
Absolutely.
Okay. What kind of work did you put in as a young writer to get to the place you're at today?
I think it started with a kind of a little bit of hero worship for me. My brother's 12 years older than I am, and he played guitar. So when I was 5, it was the Stones and the Beatles and even Elvis, and all that stuff was floating around in our house, and the Carter family and all this stuff. And so he made me want to play. And then when I was 8, he bought my first guitar on Beale Street, which I still love that story that it's from there. He said I really didn't get interested until about 10, and then he started teaching me. We started having like lessons together when he came over. And from there, the next big jump was I was 15. I was watching the Midnight Special. I'm really dating myself now. Watching the Midnight Special, and Jim Croce came on, and I was like, I want to do that, And I went upstairs that night and wrote my first song. It was terrible, and that just kind of got me into it. So hero worship all along the way, Carole King, and the undercurrent to my whole social life was Michael Jackson. So all of that was going on at the same time. This songwriter thing came in mid-70s, turned on a whole host of creative juices, So was that your question?
Yeah, no, you.
Is that, did I get there?
No, you got there. You totally got there. Very determined, put a lot of things in place, challenged yourself, just kept going.
Yeah, didn't. Got in a lot of talent shows in high school, never won. That kind of made me mad. There was a little bit of I'll show you going on,
The right dose.
The right dose. And then getting into advertising was just, I don't know. Getting into it, I'll say, getting into anything and making things happen for your songwriting is all about thinking it, dreaming it. For me, I got my first job at the Jingle company because I thought about it for 3 years. I was like, this was during high school. I was like, when I get out of high school, I want to go to work for that company. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know what was going to happen. I knew the lady down the street worked there, so I went and I knocked on her door at like 15. I was like, tell me about this place and can I have their number? And she gave me the number. I never used it, And then kept thinking about it, went to Memphis State for a semester. I was like, done with that. Went to another college for a semester and done with that. I think I'll sell men's clothes. I mean, just a natural leap from college to men's clothing. But anyway, I went to work there. Long story short, this man walks in. It was my turn, to wait on him. And he was this huge, larger-than-life guy, and I was fitting him for a shirt. And he said, what do you want to be when you grow up, young lady? And I said, and I was measuring him, I go, a songwriter, sir. And he goes, well, are you any good? And I go, damn good, sir. I'm damn good, And he goes, okay, come to the Holiday Inn tonight, Holiday Inn, and play for me. And I was like, I went home and I went, there's no way I can do this. My dad says, you're not going over there. There's no way. Anyway, I called a friend of mine. She went with me, played for this guy, 30 seconds. He said, play another one. I played another 30 seconds. He said, that's enough. He opens up the suite door, and there are typewriters and actors and makeup artists and everything, just moving all around this room. And he said, play for this guy. Play for the guy. Play another song. The guy gets up, walks over, and it said, the Tanner Company, head of creative, Gary Wells. And it was the company that I wanted to go to work for. And I had just played for the head of creative. And he goes, you're pretty good, kid. Come down on Thursday. We'll see if you can write a jingle. And so...
Oh, my God.
What you think...
Oh,
what you
your
think
words
is
and your
what
thoughts.
you make happen,
Yeah.
manifest, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, or so maybe it's some
Your
sort of
stories.
silent prayer or something. Who knows what it is?
Your
But-
stories create your reality.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you kept telling the same story over and over and over again. It now has a place in history. Yeah.
Mhm. And the man was a character actor that was on Andy Griffith, and he opened for the Rat Pack. He was a comedian, stand-up comedian. His name was Glenn Ash, and that's
Oh
who
my
I
God.
waited on that day. Isn't that crazy?
That is so crazy. Wow, I love those kinds of stories. How do you stay musically current?
I mean, I've always loved pop music.
Mm-hmm.
The more bubblegum, the better. Hate to admit it, but I love to listen to it, and I think it drives us. I think each industry or each genre looks towards the other one. I know I always did,
Yeah.
and I think country kind of looks that way, and we implement things in pop music, and I'm even hearing stuff in pop music now where you can tell they're listening over this way too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Can't think of an example right now, but I don't know. It's become really easy to, with all the different sources we have now, to just hear things it would take you years to capture before or find or listen to.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think listening to everything. I love jazz. There's nothing I really hate musically. So
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think I have a genre that I hate.
I mean,
just like
I can
songs.
put on some Gobsmack, okay?
Better you than me. What is the most important thing songwriters should know about the business of songwriting? Or one important thing, I should say.
That you're the one driving your career. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. I never thought that someone was working for me. I always thought I was working for someone else. In the publishing deal, I never said to myself, "Oh, no one's getting me any cuts. I mean, they're not getting me." It's like I always viewed myself as the problem, or
Or the solution.
what was it, or the solution.
Mhm.
I realized it was up to me,
Mhm.
and so I was always in their face.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I think that's pretty much the top thing to think about for me.
What inspires you to get up every day and do this?
A guy by the name, a great songwriter, singer-songwriter, Buddy Munlock, has a song called "I Never Really Had No Choice." And I love it. I mean, his song says it all. It's just like, I walk around with music in my head. I have to do things to make it stop. I have to turn on a movie, or I have to, like yesterday, I went out and worked in the yard for 3 hours. I had to do something else
Mm-hmm.
to cut it off. And by doing that, you get your best ideas by doing something else.
Yeah, keeping your mind busy so you can get your heart open.
Yeah,
Remember
but
what it says.
But waking up in the morning, you're like, what's going to happen today? You know, what am I going to think about today? You know, I still want to change the world. You know, I still think about saying things that change people's lives, and if it's one word, you know,
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I think that's why we get into this, is we have some sort of message that we want to get across.
I have a need.
Yeah.
A real need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a great co-writing tip that you'd like to share?
Co-writing tip. Just listen.
Yeah.
Listen more than you talk.
That's a good one.
You know, and for me, it's hard to write when there's a lot of chatter going on. You know, I think sometimes people will fill the spaces because they feel like they have to, and it's just like, you know, listen to hear what's going on, hear what's floating down on your head, you know.
Yeah.
So listen, be quiet, and don't be afraid to say what you're feeling. You know, that seems to hold people back. I've seen lots of new writers. You can see them hold themselves back, and
Yes.
I'm thinking, come on, you know, it's okay. Say dumb stuff. Doesn't matter. As Desmond Child says, dare to suck. You know, let it go. So,
Yeah, young writers, especially when you give them that permission and you tell them it's okay if you tell them they suck, nicely, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And they go, really? It's like, yes, you can. It takes them so much.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I will laugh at you for 30 minutes, but then it'll be over.
Yeah.
And then I'll say something stupid and you laugh at me.
How can a songwriter best improve upon their craft?
I think reading, I think movies, great discussions with people, you know, good bottle of wine and some friends, and all kinds of stuff can come out. And I think doing it every day. When I did Jingles for 7 years, it was 8:30 to 5. I would have 10 to 15 clients that I'd be working on at one time, and lots of writing every day. And I think I went back and timed it out, you know, it was way more than 10,000 hours, which is
Malcolm's book.
Malcolm's book.
Mm. That's what you need to put in to
I think I
have a
put
career.
that in.
Yeah.
And I learned production while I was there, so when I got up here, I hit the ground running on those fronts, and I had put more time in than I ever dreamed. But I had a lot to learn when I got here too. But I think doing it every day, kind of a journeyman's approach, I guess.
Working education.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely so.
No, go ahead.
Okay, done? Okay. What has been one of the most significant turning points in your career?
Man, way to stump the band over here.
No.
Turning points.
Mm-hmm. From here, like when you got the Faith and Tim duet, that seemed to me was really catapult your career. Am I correct in that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden it was like Stephony Smith. I mean, you won every award. Your name was on everyone thanked you. It was like, that was, you became the queen at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's I can't help but think, and I so want to say this at this time, but I was at EMI when that was going on, and the head of EMI, Gary Overton,
Mm-hmm.
came in the kitchen, and there was a newspaper on the counter, and he came around me, and I'm reading this newspaper. I'm reading this huge article about me, and you know, I'm like drinking coffee and I'm reading, and he walks around me. He doesn't say hi or anything. He says, all he says was, "Never believe the hype." And I was like, crap, I thought I was feeling good there for a second, you know. But it really registered, and it made me know how fleeting this could be. And it is. I mean, because they're on to somebody else, you know.
Of course.
So
Of course.
stay in it. Stay where you are. And keep doing what you're doing, no matter hot, cold, whatever happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yes, that was a big moment, but I think a turning point that caught my attention was that line from him that made me think.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't, you know, in this business you go from knowing nothing to being a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the sad part about it too, because a lot of people get overlooked that have all this greatness, and sometimes we never get to see it.
Yeah.
But anyway, for me, yes, that was the biggest moment in my career, and I can't thank them enough, you know, for doing what they for Tim and Faith.
But I liked how the turning point though was the phrase.
It was.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So, as we're wrapping this up, what do you have a piece of advice that you would like to leave or give to the songwriters out there watching?
Wow. You know, Prince passed yesterday, and I watched CNN all last night, and I was revived and inspired by things that he said all night. And one of it was just basically what I heard all night was be yourself, be free. I mean, we all have these things that hold us back, how we were raised, our religion, our this or that, our fears. And I just walked away last night with be yourself. No matter what it is at this time, at this moment, go be it. Yeah. Go say it. Go live it. Fly, you know. We hold ourselves back. I know I do. So be free, and the words you use, the melodies you use, just let it flow. Let it go. Rest in peace, Prince.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you very much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. Great to see you. Aww.